Hey guys, welcome back to another impressions video, and today we're going to talk about Little Big Planet 3 for the PlayStation 4, a title that came out late last year, and I was not going to pick this up on release date or anytime soon just because I still have to beat Little Big Planet 2, which by the way is the only title left in the series that I have yet to beat. I beat the original one on the PS3, and I also beat the one on the PSP and the one on the Vita, and also Little Big Planet karting for the PlayStation 3. So Little Big Planet 2 is the only one left to tackle. But this game saw a price drop, one of the fastest price drops that I've seen in recent memory. I think within a week, or I think it was a week and a half or maybe 2 weeks, the game was already down from $60 to $40. So I decided to pick it up from Best Buy because they were having it on sale, $40, not only for the regular edition but for also for the day one edition that comes with a bunch of codes for extra downloadable content. And this really cool looking box because bigger than usual because it houses, or it brings the little Sackboy plushie, which is pretty cool. I really enjoyed this little guy, so I figured, might as well buy this for $40, plus I get 20% off at Best Buy, and see what the fuss was all about, because the game was getting a little bit slammed with the reviews, in the sense that there were a couple of glitches, and including some game-breaking glitches earlier in the game. So I bought the game early, to get the day one edition, and fortunately, I think most of the glitches were patched pretty quickly via a patch, obviously. So yeah. So for those of you that are not very familiar with the series, Little Big Planet is a platforming type of game exclusive to the Sony PlayStation consoles. It made its debut on the PlayStation 3 with the first Little Big Planet game, and it's often criticized because of its floaty gameplay and physics overall, and I do have to agree, it's perhaps not the most enjoyable platforming or side-scrolling platforming game, but it does have some other unique features to it, and it does have a pretty vast and big level creator that just gets better and better with each release. So obviously this game has a very advanced one. And the cool thing is it allows you to create your own levels, upload them to a community, and you can download the levels. And let me tell you, some of the people out there in the community, in the Little Big Planet community, are extremely talented. Some of them, based on the restrictions of the tools you have, they are still able to create all these very detailed levels. Some of them are recreations of older Mario or Sonic games. And things like that. So there's a lot of creative people out there, and as far as replay value, obviously the content in this game is basically endless, because you can keep creating levels as you please. For me though, I have to admit, I played the series mostly for the single player, which it's obviously not the main draw, but for the most part I've enjoyed the single player experiences in past Little Big Planet games. And this one, I have to say it's a good one, but it's not great. To begin with, story-wise, these games they don't have a very detailed story, but essentially there is this the antagonist in the game is Newton, and it's trying to basically take over. I forget the name of the planet in the Little Big Planet universe that you partake on, but you basically have to take down Newton with the aid of 3 new characters that make the appearance in this particular game, which are a bird, a dog, and this bigger character. His name is Toggle, I believe, which is pretty cool because those 3 characters, on top of Sackboy, which is the main protagonist, add a little bit of add an extra layer of variety in terms of gameplay. So graphics-wise, this game came out also on the PlayStation 3. So the main difference you're gonna see between the two versions is that the PS4 version runs at 1080p resolution, whereas the PlayStation 3 version runs at 720. The graphics are pretty good. Obviously, on the PS4 version, they look better. And there's a lot of detail that went in the textures, which really helps the cause, because the art direction of the Little Big Planet games is very artsy, very handcrafted. Everything is basically made out of different types of textures, or yarn or clothing, denim, whatever it is. It's a very artsy type of presentation. So the game does a pretty good job, and obviously the PS4 version has a pretty crisp resolution when it comes to that. So it's a pretty good looking game, but again, nothing spectacular. Just because the game had a, I guess, cross-gen development, and so they were not able to fully use the potential of the PlayStation 4. But nevertheless, it's a pretty good looking game. Now, as far as gameplay, this is where a little bit of the controversy starts. A lot of people hate the floaty physics of LittleBigPlanet, and I do have to admit, as a straight up platformer, LittleBigPlanet, it's not the best one. It's not the best game by a long shot. The floaty physics are back, just like any other games in the series, and it just doesn't have that, I guess, tight physics and controls that games like Mario or maybe the Rayman games have, and sometimes it becomes a little bit frustrating, especially when you're playing online, which is another negative thing about the game. The online is completely, I don't want to use the word broken, but they still have not been able to create an experience that is smooth and flawless, which is one of the reasons why I think Nintendo, people keep asking for a online Mario like game, and I think this is one of the reasons why Nintendo doesn't want to do it, because platformers, they're very precise. Like, you have to be, the netcode has to be basically flawless, because it has to sync with two people jumping from platform to platform, and the tougher the levels get, the more complex it is. So the netcode really has to be basically flawless. And the LittleBigPlanet games, they've had online features ever since the first one came out on the PlayStation 3, and none of them have been able to so far deliver a solid online experience, which is a shame, because the game encourages other people to join, or encourages you to join other people, and some levels have secret areas where you need 2 or 3 people, two or three extra people with you along to unlock more prize bubbles and things like that. So it's a shame that they haven't fixed the online with this version yet, which I'm sure it's pretty tough to do, but hopefully for the next entry they're able to figure that out. So as far as gameplay, obviously, the floaty physics could be a negative, and I can definitely or easily see why some people would treat that as a negative. But on the plus side, this is the most varied LittleBigPlanet game in the series. As far as I mentioned, there's 3 new characters. One of them is a dog called Oddsock, I believe, which when you transform in the dog, he can run really fast, and he can do wall jumps. So whenever you play a level designed for him, the levels are very fun, they're very fast, and almost like a rhythm type of platforming game where you just have to continuously run and wall jump between sections and things like that. So it's very, very fun, and it gives that speed and fast-paced side-scrolling like platforming action that it's really fun. The second character is a bird that I forgot the name of him right now, but essentially he can float, and he can like flap and obviously fly and carry items and things like that. So he can by using him, you're able to reach places that beforehand you were not able to do so. And the last new character is this character called Toggle, which is I don't know if you guys can see, it's that guy right there, and essentially he can switch between a big character and a small character. The big character can use his weight to activate switches, whereas when you toggle between the big one and the small guy, and when you control the small guy, he can get through narrow or smaller gaps, and he's lighter. So just in terms of that, this game offers more variety, because before it used to be just Sackboy and that's pretty much it. So now you have Sackboy and all these 3 new characters, and on top of that, they also added the use of items. For example, you have what's called a Poppinator, which is this kind of gun that allows you to either blow or suck air, and it's pretty useful to get some hard to reach prize bubbles. And there's also another, it's like a helmet item where you can use it as a zip line, so whenever you see a string you can use that helmet and just zip line across with that item. Then they have this kind of gun that you can shoot stuff and things like that. And they have also a kind of like a jetpack that allows you to do one extra jump. So essentially you have something like a double jump later in the game. So that that also adds another layer of I guess replay value, because some levels are designed or geared towards those items that you gather later in the game, and therefore they have a little bit of a different level design than your usual LittleBigPlanet level design from previous games. The bad news is that the single player campaign is extremely short. It's basically over before you can you can realize what's going on. You basically unlock all these 3 new characters, and each one has their own level, if you want to call it, that it's themed around it. For example, the dog level, it's like very fast and allows you to wall jump and things like that. And levels that when you unlock some of the items, like those guns, they're centered towards using those items. But once you play those levels, the game is basically over. And it's a really short experience, maybe like a 3 or 4 hour single player campaign. I'm not really sure, I haven't timed myself, but it just flew by. You can easily beat this game in like 2, 3, 4 sittings. And it's a shame, because me personally, I buy these games for the single player for the most part. Now I understand that the big appeal of these games is also getting involved in the level creator, which this game has a fantastic level creator. It's very intuitive, very easy to learn. The game has tons of tutorials that teach you how to make levels, and in fact the single player levels were created using the level creator, so the developers kind of I guess use those levels as a showcase, and they can basically say, hey, you can create a high quality game by using the level creator and its tools. So it's really cool how, if you have the time obviously and the knowledge and the patience to learn all the tutorials and all the tricks, you can create like amazing levels that are can match the single player ones. So it's really cool, but admittedly I'm not much into that. On the first LittleBigPlanet game, I did spend some time with the level creator, and I created like 2 or 3 levels. But with this game, I was just kind of snooping around, kind of get my feet wet a little bit. But in the end, I always end up playing the community levels, which are awesome. So the soundtrack is pretty cool, as always. The LittleBigPlanet games have interesting soundtracks, but for the most part, it's an enjoyable single-player platforming game. But the series is getting a little bit stale, so hopefully Sony revamps it a little bit by maybe improving the online experience and maybe providing a little bit longer single-player campaign. So LittleBigPlanet, an enjoyable game, but definitely not worth of $60. So I'm kind of glad I waited a little bit before the game dropped in price. So that's it for now. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and thank you for watching, and I'll see you all later.